All right, nearly bedtime. I think we got enough filament to do it. Running this second attempt, twice the speed, 150 millimeters per second, just almost double speed. Double the amount of infill, but this isn't, I mean, this doesn't really count as infill. It's not like solid. It's really just, I don't know. But anyway, the outside's coming out pretty good. I'm hoping this increased speed doesn't cause like a layer shift, but it doesn't have much further to go. Maybe, you know, maybe this is about a little over halfway, but it will finish in the night, sending positive vibes. And greetings everybody, Technicals Tinkers here, checking in on the 3D print operations for today, October 8th, 2024. What have I done? If you're unfamiliar, I'm a small business owner and I have a big warehouse, a bunch of retail stores. Has nothing to do with 3D printing, but I've been interested in 3D printing as a potential like subsidiary of my business. So I want to prove the concept here at home, just do it all myself. And if I can get it to the point where it's too busy for me, then I'll move into my warehouse. And so I'm just chronicling what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis with the various different products, classifications, niches, different machines, so on and so forth. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along in this process. All right, and so I was printing a big D20 cube, but I was printing it in two halves. That way, if it failed, I wouldn't have wasted all that filament. And so the second half of the cube, the first half of the cube, well, actually did fail, and then I tried it again and got a success. But then the second half of the cube, I had a failure over on Cobra 3, which my printers are out of orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, I know. But I was like, okay, I'll print it on a different printer. And as of last night, of course, just the tiniest little layer shift. But this one is interesting. And I'm grateful for all the errors I have. They're a learning experience. But I came in this morning. This is a layer shift on X. So it was a layer shift here. And I guess the belt, because this is a belt that I don't really pay much attention to. Now it's buttery smooth when it moves. Buttery smooth when it moves. But I guess maybe over time it just kind of came a little loose. I'll just go all the way and then back one. And that hopefully should prevent any further issue. But of course, it always waits until the sort of the end to get a layer shift. But yeah, super bummer. And it looks like here it started to, after it shifted it, I don't know, it bunched up or pulled it in or something or other. But overall, I mean, the print came out fantastic before that. And I was about to, when I saw it was a layer shift, I just assumed it was on Y, the bed, shaking. Because I ran this at double speed. First attempt I ran at 70. This one I ran at 150, so a little bit over twice the speed. And it was coming out great. It was still nice and clean, you can see. But then it failed, and so I immediately assumed it was on Y, and I'm like, I was just cursing Cobras, because that's every single machine now has experienced layer shift. No matter what I do with the belts, you know, retightening, re-leveling, re-vibration compensating, all the stuff. It's just I don't think the Cobras can really keep up. And I think it's when they do their vibration compensation, they do it with the head right here. And so as the model gets taller, the weight increases. And so it can't really account for that vibration when it gets really tall, because there's so much extra weight on the build plane that it can't account for that. But you know, maybe that's not it, because I'd like to think at least they engineered this, because these printers are made for big, tall models. And I'd imagine it'd be like a more universal problem people are having, but I don't think people try to run them as fast as I do. But anyway, that's a bummer. Off to the landfill. And checking in here on our P1P, brand new sexy print coming in. Doing two of them. It's a like a girl with a balls and chains attached to her legs. So more on that in the coming days. Then over here on the A1, we did a set of wings for one of the Angel girls coming out. This is the back of her. I guess you can kind of see it because she doesn't have like any pronounced features, but this is one that's assembled. So she has these big, nice wings that kind of cover most of her body. And it's kind of a cool model in that it's subtly sexy, I guess. Again, I don't collect figurines. Before people come in like, this is This is blasphemous. I don't care. I'm selling it to, people that want to collect this kind of stuff. But this one, I thought originally when I saw it on the build plate, I was like, it looks kind of gray, and I thought it was bad lighting. But indeed, it's kind of gray, and that's because I was flushing to infill. And so this is my last model that I'll ever flush to infill. I did flushing volume recalculation in Bamboo, and so that will bring down the the flushing amounts. You can also see kind of here on her body where the black, I guess these are ropes, was flushing into her insides. And it was, you can kind of see the black through the matte beige. And so moving forward, it's not really worth the filament save to flush to infill. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's worth it to flush into supports because, when you, I noticed on a few places on her head that, yeah, because she prints face up, you can kind of see where some of the supports are contacting the back of her head. It was just impossible to remove those. And so I think from here on out with these art models, maybe not so much with the functional models don't print multicolor anyway, but on some of these art models, no flush to infill, supports, maybe I'll specify like just all PETG for the supports and just have dedicated support material. But anyway, I got those, and I'm thinking, because I'm doing these on a separate Etsy account, that I'm gonna put maybe, because this is a nice model still, that I may sell like a tier 2 figurines or something, just for like $10 or something like that. And I mean, that's a pretty nice model, I think, for $10. I mean, if someone wants it, versus like, the full retail price, because I'm getting really confident dialing in these settings on these art prints. I'm getting a lot better figuring it all out and dialing it all in. So here's the first half of the D20 Cube. I haven't really shown it, but again, this is the one that came out successful. Came out very nice and clean and uniform, no issues. And so it's just been sitting here very lonely, waiting for its mate to finish up. So hopefully we can get some success on that here soon. As far as the rest of the roundup, I did get the Devil Demon Girl uploaded to the other Etsy account and kind of dialed in. Got some pictures, although I'm going to reprint her with no flush to infill, no flush to supports, and probably a very fine layer height, because I think sort of the thing that was hurting me with a lot of these models is that I was so concerned about the time, because I only have 2 Bamboo printers. I was like, well, I want to get this done. I'm in a hurry. I'll print it at 0.2 layer height. I'll print it with, flushing volume. I'm trying to go for speed. And so I think, an advantage a lot of people have is they have a lot of printers, and so they can just kind of start the print and then days later have it done, and they're not as concerned about getting it quickly. So I think when the Devil Girl, I'm going to reprint with just all the finest, not the finest, but a finer, level of detail with care, to get a very nice model, and then kind of go from there on with the other prints, the other art prints, because the designer I've been using for these sexy prints or whatever, she's got a lot of them, and a lot of them are really interesting, and I think that people will like them, especially at the price point that I've kind of established. It's around like $70 that I'm putting them in for. And so that, well, in 2024 money, $70 is, $100 is the new $20. When I was growing up, $20 was like, the standard unit of everything would cost, like a date would cost $20, or this would cost $20. Now it's like $100. So I think that's a pretty good price point to put it in. Let me know what you think in the comments below based on what you've seen. Obviously not for the one that's all screwed up, but let me know what you think about the pricing. And again, thanks to everybody who's been giving me suggestions on operating these machines. Again, because I'm not on the hobbyist side of things. I'm more so on the business side, more so on the using these as a tool to make money. So if you're interested in that, I'd love to hear your stories. A very nice person commented that they were a business owner that expanded into 3D printing, and they're doing very well with it. And so I'm very glad to hear that. It's very encouraging to me, because my main business has nothing to do with 3D printing, and I don't know that there's really much overlap. It's not like a business that could really benefit from additive manufacturing. Maybe in some areas, retail displays, and maybe trash can lid holders and things like that, but nothing I can actually sell. And so it's kind of hard to sort of branch out and do this on his whole separate thing. But again, thanks to all the comments that have been coming in with suggestions and anecdotal stories about your experience with this technology. So be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.